What's up, everybody? My name is Tucker. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the absolute disaster that is the LA Lakers. But quickly, before the video gets started, I wanted to plug something for y'all really quick. I've got a new NBA channel coming out this Friday. It's called NBA to Z. We're going to be talking about all things NBA in more of a long-form context. I'm going to be going into all different facets of the NBA in much longer videos with not just me talking in front of the screen all the time. If that's something you guys are interested in, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. The link is down in the description. The first video will be out this Friday. Again, that's called NBA to Z. And yeah, with those things said, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here in the very beginning. I'm not a Lakers hater. I have no issue with the LA Lakers as a whole. In fact, before the season began, I thought they would be one of the best teams in the league. I thought they'd be a finals contender. I thought they would be a championship contender. And all of those things could still necessarily be true. However, I can't hold in my feelings about this basketball team any longer. I've talked about the Russ situation as it relates directly to him and some of the issues they're having as a team, but this is more just like how I feel about this team. Russ is bad. Their role guys mostly suck. LeBron's been hurt, and the Anthony Davis thing is something that just needs to be addressed for me. So, the game last night against Chicago. I get that his numbers were fine, like 20 points, was getting to the free throw line. He got ejected early because he, was mad at the ref, whatever the case may be. I just don't know what happened to Anthony Davis. Like, I can't be the only one that remembers Anthony Davis as a dominant two-way player in New Orleans, putting up efficiency numbers that we'd never seen. The advanced stats told us that Anthony Davis was the best player in the league in certain seasons in New Orleans. He was assertive offensively. He was scoring the ball incredibly well. He was dropping 35 and 40-point games. He was aggressive. He was assertive. He was dominant. And, I know that his numbers were fine last night, but the Bulls were playing Tony Bradley and Derrick Jones Jr. You can't tell me that those guys are going to be guys that are going to match up against Anthony Davis and prevent him from absolutely dominating the basketball game. And you're supposed to be one of the best bigs in the league. And I feel like there's too many times this year and last year when he actually was on the floor with or without LeBron, where I'm watching the game and it's the third quarter and Anthony Davis has 8 points and 3 rebounds. I don't understand how we got from him being this super excited upcoming star to I don't even notice he's on the floor half the time when I'm watching Lakers games anymore. And I think the biggest issue beyond numbers, beyond anything else, is this mentality that it seems like he has on the floor. The only way I can describe it is Anthony Davis plays in the regular season right now like he's won 10 titles and he's arrived and his legacy is sealed. He doesn't have to do anything else for the rest of his career to prove that he's a great player. He's a very, very good, great player. We know this, and you won a title. Congrats. Go win another one. I don't understand why it looks like he thinks he's Bill Russell or something when he's out there. He's adopted the LeBron school of chilling in regular season games, which for LeBron is fine. LeBron can put in 75% effort and still end up with 25, 9, and 8 at the end of the night. LeBron is special in that way. He has perfected over the years the ability to get his teams wins in the regular season without asserting maximum effort, whether it be walking up the floor in the half court, whether it be picking and choosing his spots to be dominant in any given possession, whether it be not playing on a particular night, whatever the case may be, he has mastered that. Anthony Davis is not LeBron James. He cannot just chill for an entire basketball game and end up with the statistical impact that LeBron has. And again, there's just too many times, way too many times this year, last year, when I would watch Anthony Davis play and I'm thinking, where is the guy that the last time that I remember seeing a dominant Anthony Davis was in the bubble. There were stretches in that Miami series where he looked like the best player in the league, and we were ready to crown this guy as the next guy and the guy that was going to take the torch from LeBron whenever he retired and or left the Lakers. And it's just what happened? And maybe it's an injury thing because last year was injury riddled. He's never been the most durable guy. And maybe those injuries have just started to pile up. And the last time that we saw him be dominant was in the bubble. And that was the last time that he was fully healthy, because we're going to talk about this with LeBron here in a little bit. But that bubble scenario worked out really well for players that typically have injury issues, because there was the suspended season and then there was 2.5 months where these guys had to really, really turn it on after having a long break. And it worked really well for guys like LeBron, guys like Anthony Davis, guys like Jimmy Butler in certain ways. And maybe that's the answer, is Anthony Davis just isn't healthy. He's not the same level of player, and he's never going to be ever again. But just the mentality is just so irritating to watch sometimes, where it's he thinks that winning the one title, which is obviously a fantastic accomplishment, now allows him to just not really want to play basketball at times, it looks like. And the whole thing about him not wanting to play at the 5 spot is ludicrous to me. It doesn't make any sense. Now, if his point is, hey, to get me through the regular season as a guy that has had injury issues, I think it would make more sense to not play the 5 full time in every single game. That will allow me to get to the postseason healthy. That mindset makes sense. He's not the only guy in the league that thinks that way. But to just flat out refuse to play the position, that's taking it a little bit too far. Now, granted, yes, they play with the 5 plenty when they really, really need to turn it on. They put him at the 5. They put LeBron at the 4. That was the mentality in the bubble. It was like, if we really need 8 minutes, let's do this, and we're going to absolutely destroy the other team in these 8 minutes. So obviously he's willing to do it, but the way that conversation works is just, it's very odd to me. But it's not just an Anthony Davis video. That's the core of it for me. I'm glad I got that off my chest, but we also, of course, got to talk about Russ. I mean, like, Russ was fine last night, but he's at the point in his career now where he's just not the same level of athlete. He's not the same level of player. And the only thing that really saves him in terms of, oh, this was a good Russ game, was if he's shooting the ball well. If he has trouble shooting the ball, if he's not having a hot night offensively when it comes to shot making, statistically, it's going to look gross. He's going to have 6 turnovers. He's going to shoot under, 40% from the floor. And he's going to be bad at the end of games. That's just how it is for Russ. That's just the point that he's at in his career. And there are nights when I wish that like Melo would be taking more shots than Russell Westbrook, which is not where I thought I would be to begin the season. Again, I was pretty optimistic about this team, despite the fact that I didn't love the Russ trade. I thought that the talent was all still there. The role guys have been fine, but it feels like there's a lot relying on guys like Taylor Horton-Tucker, who's fine last night, and Malik Monk, who's a guy that I like, but I don't know if I really want him to be like a main piece of a title-contending team. Kendrick Nunn still needs to come back from injury. Like, Melo's actually been really, really good. It's just a weird team. And then, of course, I know everybody's going to bring this up. LeBron's not playing. Right. We all are aware of that. But, as we've talked about before, half the point of the Westbrook trade over the, Buddy Hield keeping KCP trade was having an option for when LeBron doesn't play. I mean, you know what? Russ can get us a win against Oklahoma City here, and they've lost to the Thunder twice in games that LeBron didn't play in. So, what in the world was the point of trading for Russell Westbrook if he's not going to be super helpful when both LeBron and AD play, and he's not going to help you win games when LeBron doesn't play? I'm not really sure what the point is. But for LeBron specifically, this moment right here is the first time ever that I've legitimately questioned the long-term health of LeBron James. Because if you think about his time in LA, first season, he gets hurt, doesn't finish out the year, they don't make the playoffs. Second season, that's the bubble year. That's the year where they were very good. The season got suspended. It was a weird year. And then you come back for the bubble. You've got 2.5 months that you can, kind of coast through the seeding games and then go hard in the paint for the playoffs. You had all this time off. And LeBron's going to be in fantastic shape when he comes back to the bubble. And that was like absolute peak looking LeBron. He looked fantastic in the bubble. Last year, hurt by the end of the year, limited by injuries. This year to begin the season, not playing very much. Every circumstance except for the bubble, LeBron has had injury issues in his time in LA. So he went from a guy that was indestructible, someone that we never saw have injury issues ever, except for a weird stretch where he took a hiatus because he was having back issues and came back and looked incredible. He's gone from that to the last 4 years, except for one little blip in the bubble, having injury issues pretty consistently. Now, granted, some of it's been unfortunate with just someone randomly stepping on his leg and twisting his ankle. I get that. But to go from where he was to where he is now from an injury standpoint is a concern for me. Absolutely 100%. I can't deny that. And maybe that's just the formula. Maybe you look at the bubble and you're like, this is what we have to do with LeBron. We have to get through the regular season. Maybe that's why I'm sure he's not actually that hurt to begin the season. They're just resting him. I get that. Marathon mentality. Totally makes sense. Get to the postseason, let LeBron turn it on for 2 months, and hope that's enough to get you the title. That's probably the best outcome. That's probably the best thing you can do, given his age, given the injury stuff, given what you can still get out of peak LeBron when he's fully healthy and everything. But you got to have a team that can hopefully get you there. And again, that should have been the mindset behind the Westbrook trade, probably the main benefit behind it, and that has just not come to fruition so far. So my issues, my problems, my negative feelings about the Lakers, there's 10 different directions that you can go in here in terms of my issues that I have with them. AD needs to like it's almost like he doesn't love basketball anymore. Like he needs to like refine that aggressiveness and that assertiveness. Like when LeBron's not playing, Anthony Davis should be putting up 30 and 10. Like that's just how it is. That should be the baseline. That's where we should start. And he's, coming out after the game being like, hey, we suck. Yeah, you guys kind of do. And it's not like you're playing particularly well either. The rust we've already talked about, LeBron, all that stuff. I promise I'm not a Lakers hater. I have no reason to hate the Lakers. Before the season, I was very high on them, but I can't hide my feelings about them so far this season. And I'm hoping they turn it around because I want as many good basketball teams in the league as possible, and I'm counting on the Lakers to be one of those teams. Fix it. Figure it out. Hopefully they do. But yeah, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, be sure to check out the boxes on screen. Check out the links in the description as well for my socials, as well as that new NBA channel I mentioned in the beginning, NBA to Z, new video coming out on Friday. With all those things said, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.